Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now for today's episode, I would like to talk about one of my favorite book series from my childhood, starring a beloved dog who's cute, cuddly, very red, and as big as a house. That's right, Clifford the Big Red Dog. Created by children's author Norman Bridwell, Clifford the Big Red Dog is an American children's book series about the adventures of a precocious young girl named Emily Elizabeth and her titular pet, a giant red-furred dog named Clifford. Clifford was first published in 1963 under the educational book publishing corporation Scholastic, who also published other well-known stories like Captain Underpants, Animorphs, Goosebumps, and of course, the Magic School Bus. In fact, Clifford just happens to be Scholastic's official mascot. And as of 2015, 1 year after Bridwell's death, Clifford has a total of 80 books, and they've delighted countless children for many years. And during my childhood, I loved reading several of these. Also, in 1986, Clifford started appearing on screen, starting with a sing-along adventure video hosted by Arthur Howard and Jan Newberger, which was one of several VHS videos that I loved watching at my grandmother's place. Then, in 1988, Scholastic Studios, along with Nelvana Limited and Family Home Entertainment, released a 6-volume Clifford the Big Red Dog videotape series, which taught children about letters, numbers, opposites, shapes and colors, sounds, and rhymes. And these videos included sparkling songs, an awesome intro, great characters, and tail-wagging fun. Plus, it included Brent Titcomb as Clifford and Allison Court as Emily Elizabeth. And from looking at the voice talent cast list, I think this miniseries was the very first time where I heard Tara Sharondoff's voice years before she married Craig Strong. And while her resume doesn't specifically say who she voiced, I think she might have voiced Rhyme Cat leader Jane, or the little girl whose kittens were trapped on a tall satellite tower. Also, during the 2000s, Clifford had a few CD-ROM games for the PC, one of which I used to play at TLC during my elementary age. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, I do know about the 2000s Clifford TV series, which aired on PBS Kids, and its prequel series, Clifford's Puppy Days. But sadly, I never got a chance to watch a single episode from them due to schoolwork and all. But luckily, I did watch Clifford's 2006 animated film during my high school age, and to me, I think it's a pretty cute and charming movie, but I should save it for another time when I do a full blog on it. Also, I heard that Clifford got another animated series which lasted from 2019 to 2021. However, the Clifford movie that I'll be blogging today is a live-action film from last year, which was distributed by Paramount Pictures. But, is it a good movie in my opinion? Well, let's find out. Released on November 10th, 2021, the movie is Clifford the Big Red Dog. And now, on for the plot of the movie. As middle schooler, Emily Elizabeth struggles to fit in at home and at school. She discovers a small red puppy who is destined to become her best friend from a magical animal rescuer. When Clifford becomes a gigantic red dog in her New York City apartment and attracts the attention of a genetics company who wish to supersize animals, Emily and her clueless Uncle Casey have to fight the force of greed as they go on a run across New York City and take a big bite out of the Big Apple. Along the way, Clifford affects the lives of everyone around him and teaches Emily and her uncle the true meaning of acceptance and unconditional love. So, what do I think of the movie? Well, to me, it was pretty good. Not great, but yeah, pretty good. But to understand why I love the film, let's head over to Mustang Notes. Now, in May 2012, it was reported that Universal Pictures and Illumination Entertainment would produce a live-action/animated film based on the book series. Matt Lopez was hired to write the script, while Chris Meledandri and Deborah Forte were to produce. But in July 2013, it was reported that Illumination canceled the project. On September 13, 2013, it was reported that the movie was still in development at Universal Pictures, with David Bowers in talks to direct the film. Like the 2011 Hop movie, the titular dog would be animated, while the other characters will be in live action. In 2016, Paramount Pictures had purchased the rights to develop a live-action and animated hybrid film. On September 25, 2017, it was reported that Walt Becker had been hired to direct from a script which was being rewritten by Ellen Rappaport, and from the original written by Justin Malin, which would be produced by Forte through her Silver Tongue Films banner. On June 20, 2019, Paramount closed a deal with Entertainment One to co-finance the movie. Under the deal, Entertainment One Films would distribute the film in Canada and in the United Kingdom, excluding TV broadcast rights for the latter country, while Paramount would distribute in all territories, including the United States. On December 25, 2019, a photo from the film was leaked, revealing the computer-generated form of Clifford in the live-action scenery. Principal photography began on June 10, 2019 in New York City and wrapped up on August 23, 2019, after 55 days of shooting. The visual effects were provided by Moving Picture Company. On November 18, 2020, it was announced that John Debney would compose the movie's score. The song Room for You, performed by Madison Beer, was released on November 5th, 2021. Also, the movie is also dedicated to the memory of the late Richard Robinson, the former CEO of Scholastic, who died on June 5th, 2021. Anyway, in my opinion, this movie does have some charm and some nice references to the original book series that I used to read when I was little. And I think the cinematography is excellent. However, I kind of do have mixed feelings for the movie being set in New York City. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate it, especially due to the fact that I visited the Big Apple a couple times in my life. My most recent visit was way back in summer 2016. However, it's just that I would have preferred it being set in a small town in the country, like in the books. But then again, the books do say that Emily and Clifford were both born in the city, so I guess we can all roll with that. Also, while the story is a little bit cliched and modern at times, on the positive side, there are a few moments that are very sweet, like Emily Elizabeth's relationship with Clifford, as well as a few other moments that are comedic and fun, like where Emily has to protect her dog from Life Grow, and the chase scenes through the New York City streets. Also, I think this movie does share a nice message about acceptance and unconditional love. And that's basically all I got for Mustang Notes. So, let's move on to the cast. Let's start with our main character, Emily Elizabeth Howard, played by Darby Camp, whom was in the 2018 Benji film and the Christmas Chronicle movies on Netflix. To me, this version of Emily Elizabeth is a pretty relatable character. She's a 12-year-old middle schooler who's regularly bullied and is treated like an outcast. But on the positive side, like her book counterpart, she's kind, friendly, good-hearted, brave, but sometimes a bit bossy. And I like the scene where she collects cans for donation. Plus, I think Darby Camp's performance is very impressive, especially during her speech at the film's ending. However, I thought the craziest thing that Emily does in this movie is when she drives her uncle's truck. Also to note, I think Emily Elizabeth has some nice neighbors, like Malik, a magician in training, played by Russell Peters, Mrs. Krollerman, an elderly Russian lady, played by Tova Feldsha, Mr. and Mrs. Jarvis, a lawyer, played by Bear Allen Blaine, and a satellite repairman, played by Keith Ewell, and Sanchez and Raul, two men who work at a bodega store, played by Horatio Sanz and Paul Rodriguez. Next we come to Emily Elizabeth's dog, Clifford. To me, like his animated and book counterparts, this version of Clifford is adorable, lovable, playful, and smart. And I thought it was really cool and interesting that he was portrayed by two men who were dressed in red shorts and shoes inside a giant hollow red sheep which was painted over with CGI. Plus, I thought Clifford's puppy scenes were very sweet, and they brought back fond memories from a couple books. Also, I thought it was very sad when Clifford's mother and siblings were taken away by dog catchers. Plus, one of my favorite moments involving Clifford is when he saves Mr. Jarvis from falling off a building, and when he humiliates a bully named Florence, which gives Emily the friend she's always wanted. Plus, I thought it was pretty funny and cute that Clifford, like most dogs, can't resist fetching. And I just love the scene where Emily Elizabeth rides on him while trying to escape Lifegrow. Our next character is Emily Elizabeth's clumsy yet good-natured uncle, Casey Porter, played by Jack Whitehall, whom was in Gary Marshall's 2016 Mother's Day film and Disney's 2021 Jungle Cruise movie. This guy is a character who lives in his truck, and in my opinion, while he is trying to do his best to look after and help his niece while her mom is on a business trip, I kind of find him a bit immature and irresponsible, and he's also a messy eater. Plus, in some parts of the movie, Casey usually thinks the wrong decisions. But I thought Casey's best moments were when he fights several Lifegrow guards and when he makes an epic speech on the news. Also, I like that at the end of the movie, Casey moves out of his truck and gets a job at Scholastic Corporation. Next up is Emily's best friend, Owen Yu, played by Isaac Wang, whom was in Good Boys, Think Like a Dog, and Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon. To me, Owen is a really intelligent kid, and he's also one of the most memorable characters in this movie. Plus, I think Owen is a great supporting character, like when he helps Emily protect Clifford by having him hide at his lavish apartment. Also, Owen owns a dog named Brutus, aka T-Bone, which is obviously a reference to one of Clifford's friends from the 2000s PBS show. Another character to talk about is Mr. Bridwell, played by former Monty Python actor John Cleese. This guy is a magical animal rescuer who gives Clifford to Emily Elizabeth at his tent. And in my opinion, Bridwell is a very generous but mysterious man. And I like that his job is making children happy by giving them a very special friend or a pet. Plus, the most interesting thing about Bridwell is that he's named after Clifford's author. Finally, we come to the movie's villain, Zach Tieran, played by Tony Hale, whom was in The Tale of Despero, Toy Story 4, along with RV, the fourth Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, and he'll be in Hocus Pocus 2 at the end of the month. Now, Zach is the selfish owner and CEO of biotechnological company Lifegrow, whose job is to experiment on mutated animals in hopes that he can make a difference in the world, when in reality, he has no idea how to. In the movie, after discovering Clifford on social media, Zach plans to capture Clifford in order to complete and produce his experiments. And in my opinion, Zach has got to be one of the most sadistic villains in the Clifford the Big Red Dog franchise. Heck, he even says out loud that he hates children. Figures. Plus, he's also childish, impatient, deceitful, and conniving, and he would resort to bribery and cheating when he doesn't get his way. Plus, Zach lies to the police, stating that Clifford belongs to him, he escaped from his lab, and that he's been microchipped at birth. Thankfully, Zach gets arrested after the microchip identifies Emily Elizabeth as Clifford's rightful owner, thus exposing Zach's true colors, and he'll be owing New York City a lot of money for his lies and damages. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Clifford the Big Red Dog is a pretty well done and charming movie. The cinematography is great, the story is very sweet due to it being about a little girl's relationship with an oversized lovable dog. The acting is pretty good, Clifford's live action portrayal is cute, and there are several moments that bring back fond childhood memories from the classic Clifford books. And while there are a few flaws, like the setting in New York City and some parts being a bit predictable, I think this movie gives a really nice message about acceptance and unconditional love, and I'm glad that this film shows Clifford getting the recognition that he deserves, not just for older audiences who grew up with the books, but also from children of this generation. Plus, I hear that a sequel is currently in development, so until that happens, if you viewers at home haven't seen this movie yet, you should definitely pick it up and share it with your friends and your family. I give this movie a 96% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next blog, where we look at Jerry Bruckheimer's take on a magical and classical Fantasia segment. Mustang Power. Bye!